This webinar is about digital content marketing in general. Let me just get my slides to advance here. And you've already been introduced to me. As Joan said, I came to this business through the music business, through performance primarily, and that kind of evolved into video production because we were putting together musical groups and then creating videos to promote them and get them booked. We started doing video production for other entertainment companies and then for businesses, corporations, and then that got us back into events where the corporations would want us to display, the videos that we created for them. So we got back into events, more on the corporate side, and then at that point started really applying what we knew from entertainment to corporate events, because we felt like most corporate events were pretty boring and unengaging. And this was back in the early 90s when this kind of all happened. So since the mid 90s, I'd say we've been full on into event production and kept all of the other production that we did before, such as, excuse me, musical production, audio production, and video production. And so the events that we would produce are very much multimedia events. When I started TalkingTree, TalkingTree is an experiential agency specializing in creating dynamic experiences on stage, on screen, and online that motivate and engage your audience. This is our main focus. We achieve that through the use of custom created content, as I've mentioned, and interactions that we design, engineer, and deploy with, again, an unrelenting focus on the audience's experience. That is absolutely always our focus, and that serves us well whether we're creating content for online or for a live stage, and even the show itself. So as I mentioned, this presentation is all about digital content marketing, and you'll see that we're going to talk about a lot of the preparation for what needs to go into this, rather than, and really a much smaller part in the actual production of the content, because that's kind of how it goes. When you're producing digital content, it's more important to plan well and really get your ducks in a row. That's the most time-consuming part of it. The actual shooting and finishing of it is maybe only less than half of the whole effort. So we're going to talk about what it is, what and why you need it, how to make digital content, how to get it seen, distribution, how to develop a strategy, and whether you should do it yourself, hire a professional, or some combination. So let's start with digital content, what it is, and see if we can just define it a little bit. So digital content starts with your website. So web pages are all digital content. Blog posts, social media, social media posts and social media engagement, videos, webinars like this, events, live events and virtual events. They're both very important, and COVID has taught us that virtual events have a couple of huge advantages, although they also have disadvantages, as we all know. But if you're able to adapt and in every situation and take advantage of the things that give you a benefit, such as virtual events, you can attract a bigger audience because they can come from farther away. Press releases and third-party ranking systems, such as Clutch, Yelp, Google, depending on your industry. Some of these are more appropriate than others. For instance, Yelp is very much consumer-based, as I'm sure you all know. Clutch is a B2B platform that basically ranks B2B industries and businesses. And it's not really used. It's also got a different kind of credibility than something like Yelp, whereas where Clutch gets their rankings from your clients directly. That they have to interview your clients, or your client has to fill out their review to get it, to rank. So now, why should we be concerned about digital content? Well, because everything is digital these days. Everything's online. Your whole market is online. It used to be that, word of mouth was the best way to grow your business. Well, word of mouth is online. It's all there. And that's the place where you need to engage your audience, establish your brand as a leader, and develop the beginnings of a relationships. And I say the beginnings because what we're talking about here is primarily inbound marketing, where your market searches for what you do or who you are. And then they find you, and they may find a bunch of entities, but there's something about you that they relate to, and they qualify themselves. Once they qualify themselves, they reach out to you as a lead, and they want to at least talk to you. And at least in our business, we look at that as the beginning of the relationship. We're trying to develop a relationship. As we just have conversations with them, this is how we get them in the door. And really the idea is to make sure that it's a good fit, just as if you're, networking and trying to find, a new friend or dating. We want to make sure that the clients are right for us as well as we are right for the clients. So that's why the relationship is important. And that's why I say that this is a way to begin the relationship, developing the relationship. They're not going to just contact you the first time and say, oh, let's get married, let's do business. The whole purpose of digital content is to tell your stories. We use digital content to tell our stories, and we want to appeal to the people who get us because they identify us. And you need to sell your why, not what you do. And we talk about often Simon Sinek's Golden Circle. So Simon Sinek is an author who specializes in marketing, and came out with this book probably 10 years ago. The book was talking about why people do business with you. And he came up with this thing called the Golden Circle. So the Golden Circle says that your why you do business, is the center of your story. How you do it is, a step down, and what you do is the furthest step down. So you need to tell stories to make the connections with your market that, that tell this why. A couple of examples would be, Apple, Ben & Jerry's, and Tom's. So Apple is always a great example, and he uses it quite a bit in his book and in his TED Talks. He's done it. You could look him up, Simon Sinek TED Talk on the why. He's really great. But he talks about how Apple makes good computers, but a lot of people make good computers. And these computers that Apple makes and the products they make are actually much higher price for what you could get otherwise. They're no better computers, but they've done such an amazing job of advertising who they are and what their why is. Their why is that they are for people who are innovative and creative, who think differently, right? So it's kind of like music in the sense that when you're a fan of a group like Beyonce or Taylor Swift, you are buying that image. You are buying into that image. Same thing with Apple. Same thing with Ben & Jerry's. You are buying into that image as well as the product itself or what they do. And so many companies don't really know what their why is. And it's actually kind of hard to come up with. It's a lot of introspection, and I always call it corporate therapy, where you have to talk it out and you have to really get to know yourself as a business. So our why is to entertain people and engage people. We want to put on events and create content that engages people and gives them an experience that they will not forget, that's meaningful to them. That's our why. It's not what we do. What we do is we produce content, we produce media, and we produce events. So the nuts and bolts of what we do are just the way we get there. But the goal, again, is to engage people. And we believe that people come to your event or to your webinar or to whatever you're putting on, and they're giving their time to you and their attention to you. You have to respect that and treat them, give them something back as a gift, entertain them. So how do you do all this? We'll talk about strategy for a minute. So you have to have a strategy to create digital content. Your strategy checklist might include things like your website and your web design, search engine optimization to get people there, to get them to come to your site, ad media placement such as YouTube, Facebook ads, industry ads, on industry websites, or peripheral websites that are associated with your industry, Google ads and LinkedIn ads. Also email marketing, which a lot of people already do, and YouTube and Vimeo channels. So the thing with this strategy is that you're going to need help and you're going to need a budget because it takes time and it takes effort, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more. But you have to come up with a strategy that feeds your business with the leads that you need, and actually even has accounts for closing the deals at the end of the process. Now, this everybody's probably familiar with the sales funnel. We don't really use that. We don't have a sales team in our business because we rely completely on inbound marketing. So the leads are coming in without the sales team. We're not going out and trying to drag people in and say, oh, we've got what you need. What we're doing is letting them find us, realizing that we have what they need, and then they come to us already qualified, and then we develop the relationship, and it's built on something true at that point, that they feel that we're right for them, and we feel that we're right for them too, and that they're right for us. So the strategy has to include all of those nuts and bolts that are going to get people in and let them know about what you do. Another key factor of the strategy is being a thought leader, which I know has been talked about over the years many, many times. But that has served us well too. And that's where the blog came in for us. We do basically educational videos and text blogs on our blog that then become part of the SEO. So people search for the best 4 ways to make a video, or the best the 10 top checklist items for your event, things like that. People find that, and then they see you as the expert in that thing, and then they can come back to your site, and so they're building they're building their touch points with you, with you feeding the content out. So when you create this strategy, you're going to need partners, and there are lots of different marketing firms out there and agencies out there in every little niche of this. But you need somebody to do the digital. You need a digital marketing agency, most likely. And again, all of these things can be done by yourself, in-house. But I would venture to guess that most, or if not all, are going to have to be outsourced because otherwise you're taking your own people's time to do it. But you may have your own marketing department in your firm, and that's fine. A web design firm to really, you have to have a website, and it shouldn't be just a Facebook page. I know it was mentioned that a lot of people, a lot of small companies just have a Facebook or a LinkedIn page that represents their business. That's great, and we have one of each, but you need your own website because you need a platform that you can measure and also control completely what you deliver on that. An SEO agency, and for those of you who don't know by now what SEO is, search engine optimization, that's really where you leverage organic results. So somebody searches on Google for something, and the organic results that Google gives them, these people are not the ads. The ads come up at the top, and then under the ads are all the organic results. That's very powerful. You pay for the agency to optimize your search engine according to keywords that people search for, but you don't pay for ads. So it's not free, but and it does take, I'd say, about 6 months of or longer of trial and error of testing different keywords that relate to your business to see, like, are people searching for those keywords? Are there other keywords they're searching for that you're not thinking of, but that do relate to you? And you can search, you can have your agency look for those too. There's different platforms that Google makes available to search those kind of things, that they collect everything that everybody searches and they report to you on it. So once you figure all that out, you'll start seeing leads come in, and you have a contact form on your website. That's where they would, you would probably send them. You could have a phone number for that matter, and then they could send them there. But SEO is a very powerful, and if not free, it's very, at least cost efficient, once you get it going, to really see where you are, to start getting leads and see where you are. Ad media placement agency, which may be the same. Any of these can be combined with another agency. There's some that do digital marketing and ad placement. Social media marketing agency, again, you should be posting on social media all the time. Maybe you're doing that in-house, but if not, you can have an agency do that for you. An affiliate marketing agency, which is just affiliates of your business that also market what you do. So like maybe a trade agency. For instance, there's one for events called Multiview, and they pretty much have the contract on Meeting Professionals International, which is a huge web presence of meeting professionals, and they do all the advertising for that. So that's like an affiliated marketing agency. And then content marketing, again, which includes all of these things: blogs, ads, videos, you name it. So once you've got your partners and your strategy in place, now we have to have the talk of do it yourself or outsource, or what combination. And it's really a matrix decision tree, because you may have employees who are skilled in marketing in some disciplines or another, for instance, in writing copy, or in video production, or in graphics, or whatever it may be. But they probably have a job description already. If you say, yes, you do have skilled employees, well, you can divert them from their hired jobs and pay their salaries to do something that they're learning, or expand their capabilities. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's going to cost, there is a cost involved, which a lot of people often overlook, and they say, well, I'm already paying this person, I can have them do this. I'll have them learn this. I'll have my own people shoot the videos. Or you can hire a professional so your employees can focus on their job, or do a higher level of the project. For instance, maybe they write the content because they know the content so well, and then hire a professional video production company to create the video and help you tell the story. The other thing I forgot to mention is, you should plan on a budget. You need to have a budget for this. You need to commit to it. We usually, kind of a figure that's out there is 10% as a thumbnail of what you should spend, 10% of your gross revenue. We've been pretty much at or a little bit above that for the last 10 years. Really, it hurts in the beginning to think that, man, I'm spending all this money on something that is so soft and fuzzy and kind of ethereal, and I can't really put my finger on what I'm getting for it. But once you get good at it, it really does pay off. And it's not going to happen at all if you don't commit to a budget. So if you don't have anybody to do it in-house, then you can also still invest in training them and or hire a professional. And in most cases, you're going to save time and money hiring a professional for any of these different tasks that we've talked about. So the next thing in this is you have to feed the beast. And this is really, really important. Everybody, years ago, we used to have clients call us and say, okay, we want to do a video. Like, this is the one video we're going to do that's going to make us stars. We're going to do our corporate overview video and put it online. And I say, okay, that's great, but then what are you going to do that after that? How are you going to continue to push the messaging? So you have to basically become a network TV producer. You have to produce content all the time, and you have to produce video content because 80% of the internet is going to be video very shortly here. And I think the figures are constantly changing, but video is the most impactful and important medium to use on the internet, period. It has better results in people reacting and responding to it. It has higher, sales figures attached to it. And again, like I said, those figures are changing constantly, but they're only going up all the time. Some people say the whole web will be all video by in the next 10 years, maybe sooner. So continuous output of content. They don't all have to be videos, but they have to be, you have to be continuously putting out content. You have to hyper target your audience. And again, this is one of the advantages of the web. It allows you to hyper target your audience. So you're not going to do a general, video about your products and services. You're going to do specific videos that have specific solutions to specific target audience problems or issues. And that way, nowadays, you can talk directly to really down to individuals and have your content being sent out directly to them or made available so that they find it, like the right people find the content that you're putting out. It has to be high quality content. We all, you watch good television commercials like during the Super Bowl. Those ads are like 30-second ads that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to create a 30-second ad. It's none of us are in that ballpark, I'm sure, but you can't skimp on it. You have to create. You're competing with Netflix. You're competing with Amazon Prime. You're competing with Disney. You're competing with all of those. Because it's all one big world out there and people can watch anybody's content. And if you want them to watch your content, it has to be either funny or engaging or a really cute kid or a really cute cat, or something that really people want to watch. And then it has to tell your story in a creative way. So, think right place, right time, right content. That's what you're trying to design here as a system. So now we're finally to producing the content. And as I said, we're getting to the end here because most of what I've talked about up till now is preparing to create the content. So to create engaging videos, you're going to need to draft the messaging and scripting, produce or source video. So that means either shoot the video or use stock footage, or have it animated, motion graphics. There's all types of ways to get source video, but you've got to either create it out of nothing or shoot it. Produce or source the graphics. Audio is very, very important. Any video, the audio is more than half of the effort. It really is that important. And I'm not just saying this as a music composer. Music is what drives your video. If you're playing a video and the visual goes down, but you can still hear it, you will get the message across still. But if the audio goes down and only the video is playing, you're likely to not get the message, or certainly not with as much impact. Audio quality is extremely important and also extremely overlooked by most people. And we see it all the time. And they say of audio, they say this of people running audio at concerts or at corporate events. If the person who's running it is good, nobody's going to notice. But if it's bad, everybody's going to notice. So, and that's true of audio on a video too. If the music is bad or doesn't serve its purpose to create some emotion, if the narration sounds like it was done on a webcam mic in a reverberant room, it's going to detract from your image, and it's going to detract from the video. So that's really important. And then you have to edit together the final product or hire a production company to put this whole thing together. So a couple of ways to produce the videos. I'm going to show you a couple of tips, but the production process is basically concept, theme, and development. Okay, pre-production, which is primarily scheduling people or scheduling the creation of the assets, scheduling video shoots and crew, and that entire process of basically project management. And then during project management, there's always some overlap between, modifying the theme, the concept, maybe, revisions of the edits of the scripts. And we have scripts for not just videos, but for audio production. And we have scripts for even storyboards for just ads that we're going to do, banner ads. And then you get into production, which is the actual creation of the content. Vis-a-vis recording, the video, recording the audio. And then post-production, which is editing it all together and creating your final piece. So a couple of tips to do this if you're going to do it yourself, which a lot of people do, is first of all, cameras. The iPhone or a late model Android phone is one of the best cameras you're going to get. They're really amazing cameras. Does that mean anybody can pick it up and make a video with it? No. You have to learn it just like anything else. You've got to practice using it. You've got to become an expert at using your camera phone as a camera, because it's very powerful and it does a lot of stuff, but most of it, it's going to be putting an expensive tool in a toddler's hands, and that's what you're going to get if you don't learn how to use it. So this is something that has gone through our industry for a couple of decades now. As technology gets more powerful, people feel empowered to create content, and that's a good thing. And you also get a lot of really fun results because, people try things that a professional wouldn't try, and that's wonderful. I'm all for that. But when you're creating something that you have a goal for and has a cost to it, and it's to achieve a goal like creating business for your company, you need to do it. You need to know best practices at least. So again, there are apps that you can get for the phone. There's one called Filmic. It's Filmic. And it's just an app that really gives you more professional controls over the iris, the focus, the color correction and the frame rate and that kind of stuff on your camera, on your phone. But it gives you professional results. It records really beautiful material if it's in the right hands. You can also just buy a camcorder. There are lots of, $2,000, $3,000 camcorders that are 4K, beautiful, shoot beautiful imagery. Again, there's a lot of buttons on these things, and you really need to take the time and learn how to use it if you're going to get your own camera and do it this way. And the last thing is stabilization. DJI, that's D as in David, J as in John, I as in Indigo. They make drones. I'm sure people have seen that. And they make these gimbal stabilizers. And for a couple $100, you can buy one of these, and it's made for your phone, and it gives you a Steadicam shot, basically. So no wiggly phone, in your hand. And it's better than a selfie stick, because it's actually got a battery-powered three-axis gimbal that holds you. You can walk down the hall, swoop in. It looks like you're on a big crane, a big video jib. So again, these are very affordable tools that can put a lot of power in your hands. A few more talking about audio. You should always use an audio lav mic when you're creating a video, or a close-up microphone, either external. You should use an external microphone tied into whatever you're recording into, whether it's your phone or a camera. But the reason is because you want a direct, clean sound. You don't want to hear the room, unless that's on purpose, and for some reason, some part of your what you're trying to create, the environment you're trying to create. But generally speaking, you want to have total control over a clean, dry sound of the voice. And that means you got to get the microphone close to the person's mouth, whether that's a clip-on lav or whether it's a boom mic that they call them shotgun mics. And a shotgun mic picks up only what's in front of it and nothing to the side. So it reduces that room sound that you would get if the mic was far away. But yet it can be farther away because it's a shotgun mic. So microphone is very important. Lighting, very important. And this is probably the most difficult thing that people just don't see until they learn about it. But you want to create even lighting in most cases, or in some cases you may want to create like shadow, something creative where it's lit more on one side than the other, and that can be very powerful to create shadows. But you want to be in control of knowing a couple of lighting concepts. And the most basic video lighting is called 3-point lighting. It's a key light, which is the main light. That would be the light on the woman's face. That light in front of her, shining on her face, is the key light. Then you have a fill light, which would be one of the side lights, and you actually usually only need one fill light. But if you want it more even, you can make 2 fill lights. And then the third one from the fill light is a backlight. And in most cases, it doesn't actually look like they're using one here, but it creates an edge of light around the person's head and shoulder that helps separate them from the background. So that's just a basic quick lighting course, but there's a lot to lighting, and it's an art for sure. And then the last thing is, you may want to create a space in your own facility to shoot videos. A studio is what I'm talking about. Now this is our studio in the picture, but one of our clients just used they put 2 offices together and knocked down the wall and made a studio that's about 12 or 15 feet wide by 20 feet long. And it's perfect for individuals can come in that have to do a presentation, and then they bring us in to bring the camera in, but they could really set up their own thing if they wanted to. And they could do a green screen shoot, which is really flexible to use, because you can create whatever you want in the background if you do a good chroma key and know how to light it and know how to do chroma key on the post-production end. Or you could just have, pull down photographic backdrops. But having a space in your facility is a great thing to have. And then post-production tools, There are a lot out there. iMovie and Final Cut are very popular on Mac. Adobe Premiere is a editing program that a lot of people use also, available on both Windows or Mac. And DaVinci Resolve is one that more people in our business know about. Not too many people know about it, but it is free and it is very powerful. It also has color grading and audio mixing within that suite of tools. It's made by Blackmagic Design, which is a video hardware company. But it's, again, and the only thing about DaVinci Resolve, although it's free, you need a very powerful computer because it uses the computer processors and the graphics cards much more intensely than these other programs do to be able to do what it does. But it's also available on Mac and Windows. So the thing to remember about post-production is it's an art. You need quality tools, and if you use quality tools, you're going to get a quality product. The timing, sequence, and transition of each visual tells a story, but that's not enough to elicit an emotional response from your audience. You really have to put all those things together to elicit an emotional response from your audience. The color temperature of the footage and visuals can evoke tone and time period. If anybody ever watched Breaking Bad, they did a great job of letting you know when you were in Mexico with like a yellowish overlay of color that kind of, it wasn't really obvious, but it really was amazing how it changed your mood and made you feel like you were in danger. Every soundbite, audio track, and sound effect dictates the emotional journey of your video and plays an essential role in telling the story and delivering your message. So this is really about the audio. And the final thing we're going to talk about before the takeaways is distribution. So, you know, your content is worthless if no one sees it. So you have to have a way to distribute it. And you may have to pay for that at first. And also, hopefully, SEO, as you get better at doing your SEO, that will drive people to see your content more. You could put your content up in ads in social media and paid advertising, again, such as Google ads, LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, trade magazines. And trade magazines can also be really helpful with doing editorials on your about your business or about some post that you did, some attribute that you have for your business, something that you're good at, basically. So the takeaways are: identify your target audience. So for your strategy, right? Craft your message, stories, and content to appeal to that audience. Consistently produce content. Feed the beast. Commit resources to an established plan and process for the content development. And follow through, wash, rinse, and repeat. And that's it.